Alright, so we have a formation list. Notably, it is a shoop list. So this is running a lot of artifacts with carryover, a lot of locations. We have Mushy Truffle, War Council, and Bakala, which if they're all sitting on board, that's a lot of points that you can decide whether to commit now or save them for a later round. Ridea and Shu provide a good amount of flexibility, particularly because this is Nilfgaard. Ridea can play Collar as the stratagem on front row, which is just an additional look if need be. Cavalry is here for consistency, with a decent number of tactics, but he's not guaranteed to be found in the round one. If he isn't, you should be drawing him in the second round, and you can always use Marines to move him up a little bit higher, if need be. Cavalry provides that for the Marines, you have Ramon to copy them, and then Rune Mage provides you with consistency for your Shoop and your Beppo Ridea as well.
Yeah. You just had the pleasure of playing against Shoop Nilfgaard, different versions,
yes.
I would assume a little
Twice
bit,
in a row.
But nice thing to play against the deck that maybe has not too many orders, but very significant units that you have to float. No Invo for second toll punish, but Heatwave is here.
Yeah.
We don't see Vilgefortz, we don't see Leo.
Some scary 5Ps though. Very strong engines in the light cavalry, crossbowmen, and marine, and some decent control in the cavalry lock as well.
So yeah, there are definitely things that you'd want to remove in this, but at the same time, well, there are no ways this should just snowball, as there is only one light cavalry, only one marine, only one crossbowman, and maybe all of them are not found in round one. So yeah.
No slave drivers as well.
Yep. Next is guerrilla tactics, and we'll see a lot of harmony. Apparently, when you buff Water of Brokilon, that develops 2 cards onto the board to 9 provisions, and also those cards are engines at 6 power. People, pro players especially, go like, let me think for a second, this is very good, let me just give a chance to harmony. And especially with the warrior buff going hand in hand with it, people maybe I play that and also play Shiro and try to snipe warriors. Turns out when everyone is thinking like this, we see no warriors, but this is the harmony. It has all the bronze triggers, as in some of them good, some of them bad, as Saskia pulls, but yeah, you need all the categories. So we see 4 provision Witchers, we see human, we see double purify here. Dana is a big card here, as you can slam her round 1. You have extra protection from guerrilla tactics leader, and if your opponent is not capable of answering it, she can provide you with like 10 points, 15 points of carryover, depending on the tags in your hand and how much you are playing them out, what's your opponent doing. So definitely a card that deserved a little bit of a nerf. Some people like Lemon still consider maybe the requirement to nerf it further, because at 6 power, when protected by TA, so guerrilla tactics, it's just snowballing with the carryover. And there is also a flex of playing her as a second form for big points in round 2-3. So next deck. And probably considering the bans will be done soon, we have to pick up a speed a little bit, so that wish. But not we that you were, nobody neck decked you in the last second.
Oh, I net decked Magpie originally, so that would be a funny cycle, but this is actually not even a new form. We don't see Haunt here, we don't see the newly buffed Desert Banshee, just your older version of Deathwish. Actually, Megascope is a little bit interesting, can be used on Giant Tyranid or Succubus. Double Cyclops for control, along with the Lord Riptide, and that in Heatwave, and then your typical points with your Dagon Brewers you like to play round 1, and then a Ruckus Queen to double up on the Dettlaff or a Succubus.
Yeah, I don't think I see any Sirens, but yeah, you need to make room for Cyclops in this deck. That card is occasionally helping out with the consumes in round 1 when pulled from the Brewers. But yeah, the Dead Wish is not really a new deck to the meta. And then speaking of the good old tested lists over playing the new cards, we have Self-Wound. Self-Wound with Demon Corsairs and ships. Wait, we actually don't have any priests, right? So I guess...
No priest in this, just double doing.
Yeah. But double Gwentfinity, which will be a painful card to have if your card holder is getting hit waved, but overall, yeah, it provides a lot of value. And yeah, then the usual suspects, left to right, from the top to the bottom, Swolblood, card roll, the Totem, Sigvald, Knut, and also, well, occasionally Olgierd is omitted, but usually he is there.
Yeah, is the Neomancy version. Sometimes we see that cut in favor of Portal, but that's usually the most interesting distinction when comparing self-wound lists.
Okay, so that was Dauren's list, and now we have to skip over Lerio's list. So we start with Ale of Ancestors to Sontus Hospitality, and this is a list that is newer to the meta, but we already seen it in the competitive setting.
We saw it last weekend in the winner takes all of Kareem up against Magpie, I believe it was. This is a very scary deck, more of a combo deck, I would say, where if they're able to get a lot of boosts going through, then that's a lot of really tall units, which, even if the opponent has one tall punish, I would tell you that's not enough to deal with this.
Yeah, any recent nerfs? Not really. Milton didn't get any nerfs, right? So the deck is as was.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so something that has found its niche in the meta, and so maybe is replacing all the cow spam deck that Nilgard was running, because teleportation and combat engineers just lost a lot of provisions. Or gained a lot of provisions, so to say, the cards themselves. The next one. This is something that probably is making you smile, seeing the monsters carapace.
Yes, when I saw Lerio bring carapace, I had a feeling and a hope it would be Relic's Golden Necker, and it is. So this is, you play a lot of bronze relics round 1, set them up in your graveyard, and then you can bring them back with the Necromancer's Tome, which is played off of the Golden Necker. Particularly, the Necker also plays either Decree, Necromancy, or Last Wish. So in the same turn as you play the Necromancer's Tome, you're able to proc it and bring back a second copy of the bronze that is tutored. In terms of control, we have Lord of Riptide, the potential Kyonic 6 damage, the potential Whisper 6 damage, as well as a single Cyclops. Unfortunately, Doodoo was cut compared to some previous more memey versions. Probably not as wise taking that to a quali like this. But yeah, very strong engines in Self-Eater and Witch Apprentice, and you have a lot of ways to bring them back with the Incubus, the Necromancy, and the Tome.
Yeah, so that's the list, and also Metal pinged us that the match has started, but people will take their considerations on the bans. So far, no trigger, no invites on the tournament.
Yes, well, bans are done, but let's quickly finish.
Okay, so the next deck is the Harmony Shiro, and it looks very similar, although only one separate copy, for example, so surely some changes have been made, but it's once again Dana, Mysteries of Locthwain, Shiro, and Waters of Brokilon, supported by a lot of Harmony triggers. Yeah, pretty similar, and the same also goes for the Self-Wound, which is another Neomancy version. Instead of having double doing Viandra, there is a priest in Lerio's list, but I believe the golds otherwise are like just stock standard, same for same. In terms of bans, Lerio's Nilfgaard Toussaint's Hospitality is banned, and Dauren's Self-Wound Skellige is also banned. And Invite is here, so we'll move. So we will have Lerio on blue coin to begin with. I think Harmony tends to be more of a blue coin deck.
because you can just play out the Saskia and the Dana and use that proactivity to great effect. Suffering may be more of like a red coin potentially, I'd imagine. I think Golden relics you can kind of get around with playing them wherever you like. Can be a bit scary with some tempo abuse from the red coin with the roach. Like operator into a few self-eaters, the roach coming out, that can be quite difficult for the opponent to deal with. And you can get win on even that way. As for Dauren's Imperial Formation list, well, if you find your bronzes, you can be fine in the round one. But like Truffle isn't really playable round one because it's only playing Illusionist. War Council and Bacala, it's not really round one cards too much either.
It's funny to see Dauren playing once again a Nilfgaard deck with a lot of carryover potential. He was the one playing Madoc with all the possible locations and Phoenix, and double Madoc with Kingslayer. So one step by step his decks are getting like killed off with Military being a recent recipient of nerfs via teleportation, and Madoc getting completely killed off some time ago.
War Council did get a bit of love recently, and we will see it in action this very game. It's formation on the red coin coming out for Dauren, as you were just speaking about. Lerio with the golden neckers on blue coin instantly draws the Term and the Roach. Gonna see both of them heading back into the deck for Lerio. Double self-eater, pretty good to have in hand.
Okay, so I was not loading up, but for some reason there was also no sound, but okay, go on, continue now, I'm getting in as well.
Okay, well, we're good. Squirrel is probably something that I would like to hold on to. You can banish a bronze from the graveyard to stop that coming back from the turn later on, and does find Marine and Crossbowman in terms of some stronger engines. Notably, Obsidian Mirror can be quite interesting in this sort of matchup. You can copy some Witch Apprentices, potentially some Self-Eaters, maybe get some shenanigans with the Diplomats if you find a Relics that way. Yeah, interesting to see how hard Dauren commits for the round one. Would like to be able to have the opportunity to bleed, and it's always good to get the round control, but not necessarily as forced, since you can deal with the Term, both with the Heat Wave and Shoop artifact removal from the Hunter form.
Okay, and I think I more or less set things up, so should be good to go and watch the games as well. Sorry, tournament platform is what it is, but at least we don't have to worry about coins here. Of course, Lemon can provide us with information about the formation, leader charges, and also carapace. We do see first leader charge going in immediately, no hesitation.
Yes, this protects against that potential lock. It's important that your first self-eater sticks, because that's when you're going to be buffing up, and then you can bring that back later on, albeit maybe need to be a little worried about that squirrel. Notice that the Term was actually kept through the Mulligan phase by Lerio, because that is going to be put to the bottom of the deck with Curse Scroll, so that's no worries about drawing into it in later draw phases. Likely going to draw into the Operator as well, I'd imagine. Since you have a copy of basically every bronze, you want to get as many self-eaters through early on as possible, so that basically one of them is guaranteed to stick. Also sets up the opposing Incubus.
I've seen the Griffin, and I was scared for a second of Predatory Dive being the card that was rolled. But...
Oh, that would be disgusting. But look at that Veil blocking the bleed from the Bruxa.
And I guess with the Bruxa being the drive unit, Dauren has a 4 and a 5, so it plays for better value than the Archisport that is limited to 4. So this decided to keep it, or even without wasting the bleed on the whale, can get 1 extra point.
This Fiend can quickly become quite awkward for Lerio, since you'd expect Dauren to clog up this front row. Probably ends up playing a more back row, but we'll see. Yeah, the Operator being played back row, that is potentially less points if the Fiend does go there as well.
So for the Necromancer's Tome there is a Heatwave, there is Shoop as an answer, but at least with the, if combined with the Last Wish, it gets some value through immediately. Necromancy as well. We'll see how Lerio plays it out.
Yeah. So I imagine that Marine is targeting the Cavalry. It's not found immediately, but with the number of tactics in Dauren's list, it should move pretty close to the top of the deck. No real way for this Marine to be answered. So it's going to be 2 points per turn, but this is already quite a lead. I don't see how this will be able to catch up.
So maybe this is the Nilfgaard's approach with artifacts. I'll establish it. If you push the clicks out, well, you do. If not, I'll try to preserve some carryover for round 3. But yeah, the self-eaters are growing. The graveyard is getting developed slowly but surely. So we'll see. Yeah, look at this. Gankian, Lerio, of course, is not clicking the self-eaters because you want to bring the big copies out so that they are not just pinged off by something like a crossbowman.
Yeah, and it's better for carryover, especially if one gets, if a self-eater gets self-eaten by a squirrel, the other one can be brought back by an incubus.
Maybe right about now Dauren is thinking of why didn't I put the experimental remedy into my deck. That would have been potentially denying a lot of value as well, but not exactly thought you get a lot of value from playing Shoop soldiers.
A lot of pings finding their way onto the self-eater. Should be safe from any removal. Also note that the Joust and Assassination both missed here for Dauren. Assassination could have killed the self-eater that was summoned from the operator. But yeah, that was missed, and yeah, Joust not able to do awfully much here either, because even if it was found, nothing is sticking it for power for a turn. Witch Apprentice coming down, this space is going to match the Imperial Marine on the other side. And it's... yeah, I mean, maybe Rune Mage is the only sort of good point play for Dauren. Also keep in mind, the no-call V, there's no guarantee you draw into good cards to actually defend the bleed and set up that carryover as we were discussing. You do have the War Council and the Mushy Truffle, but you very well might miss the Bakala, which would be quite nice to establish.
Yeah, you might miss Shoop as well, which is and Heatwave, and then we already see a bunch of relicts going into the graveyard. Quite decent Obsidian Mirror value if you were to trigger stuff.
Yes. Although in saying that, if we do see the card be played next round, War Council can find one of the cards which was moved to the top of the deck. No Sabbath right now for Dauren either, so this back row Witch Apprentice is not online. Now it can get a little bit more awkward for Lerio in terms of what you want to commit. Like, you don't want to play the Self-Eater, Unicorn, Golden Egg, nor Necromancy, so it's almost as if you're forced to just play this Brewers and then pass. I think you can definitely afford to play the Brewers. Unless... I think the only other choice is a pass here. Or you can commit the Self-Eater if you don't think your Dauren would pass. So just trying to engine back. Oh, split.
Split for an extra trigger and at least getting something out of this Bruce play, but yeah, she is no match to the Arcane Heavy Cavalry and goes away immediately. Okay, so Dauren is getting the Sabbath on the front row, so the engine starts, also the nice Lerio an engine, and now it's passing time. But Dauren should be making the points quite easily with the Rune Mage. And the
Yeah.
engine trigger in twice.
Yeah. There's... Yeah. It may be a consideration to play location if you were like heavy set on bleeding. But yeah, I don't think that's too much of a good choice. Now... Ooh. Yeah, nothing much here matters. Largely. Yeah. Surprised we didn't actually just see a Marine to try and move something else a little bit higher in the deck. That could have played for like some carryover. Like, yeah, I would have expected, I don't know, you try and make it more likely to draw, say, the Rodeo or something. Or the Shoop, or the Bacala, but...
Yeah,
does
maybe
find the coffee as
avoiding
expected.
the necessity to only have Marines and Calvit to rely on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's maybe an argument that you don't want to draw too many golds if you've gone for more of a value bleed. But considering you could have smuggled them anyways because they'd go to top with Calvit, like, I think that would have been fine. You do kind of need to play into this round two to establish the Calvit as Dauren. This gives Lerio a huge chance to stay ahead, keep card advantage. Also, naturally, Nova plays Resilience. It's more points than Calvit, able to get ahead straight away. Now, that's kind of sketchy with that being your first play into Shoop, which is why we see the Riptide to establish sort of a lower power body so that Shoop Hunter or even Shoop Mage isn't as much of a worry. Now, being melee Rolocked is a bit annoying because it does play into this Imperial Fleet infusion on this front row off of the Bacala.
And Marine should be guaranteed points with the Shoop.
Yep. And yeah, protecting around the Unicorn Kyrenex play, not wanting to face that 6 damage. No Incubus is quite unfortunate here for Lerio. Self-Eater's quite sad. Playing it now means you don't have another Self-Eater in deck to sort of trigger the Necromancer's Tome later on. Although I don't think you would be expecting this Necromancer's Tome to be sticking around for more than one turn, regardless. See protection from potential lock, quite wise because of this Rodea sitting in Dauren's hand, and I don't think we will see any splits on the Self-Feeder because of that fact. And maybe there's an argument to do so right before Unicorn Kyrenex gets played, however, since that is a double proc, so it would sort of double up the points that they would provide. But again, yeah, splitting is kind of worse for your carryover at the same point.
No, I actually see Dauren in the position we were talking about. Let me just develop the carryover. And Squirrel is also a carryover card. Should be dealing with... well, there are 3 Self-Eaters, but considering Lerio has Necromancy, you might just deny the bigger one. Of course, you can say on the RNG that he gets the smaller ones after splitting, but since Necromancy is a card, no, goes for
sort of Witch Apprentice, which also is not great if you're Illusionist now. But yeah, if they all come out of the graveyard, then it doesn't really help regardless having them there.
A bit unexpected, I must say, considering the fact that she's not doing much in this round, and you will be continuing playing into round 2 a little bit more. Okay, so Necromancy onto the Self-Eater is what we see. Of course, there is Rodea for the lock, but that's not a play establishing carryover on the board.
No. And we see this Shoop 3-3? Is that a consideration here? Oh no, it's okay, Heatwave on the 9 power. But yeah, we actually see that this was actually really nice from Lerio, because Necromancying another Self-Eater allows these splits to be established and just maximize the double relic to proc coming out from the Unicorn Kyrenex. Which is, I don't see any reason why that would not be the play here. Maybe a bit annoying that you haven't gotten Siri Nova onto the board up to this point. But, yeah.
I mean, getting a card should be equaling the 8 power carryover anyway, so... There we go.
Yeah.
A double proc on 3 engines. Also pretty good value from the ponies themselves.
Yeah.
And now nothing stops Dauren from committing the Mashut raffle. Also, yeah, Lerio gets the freedom of just slamming the Nova.
Yeah, arguably the threat of the Nova would be the thing stopping you, but maybe Dauren is saying, well, I get 6 carryover anyways, playing my Truffle. With no Witch Apprentice, the Illusionist play is pretty weak regardless, so I'll just go for this. I mean, surely Nova is just the play here. I don't think you gain much by decreeing anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're worried about the Nova getting answered. Oh, actually, sorry, there is a Diviner.
There is a Diviner.
But Diviner would be... To play Diviner and catch up, that would be huge commitment of, like,
that
orders
will be just
from
raising the
Dauren.
carryover.
And it's not like Dauren would really play anything else here to play into this. So, like, this is like your last chance to really play the Nova. So, yeah, Lerio takes it. And it should be established, I imagine. Now, Rodeo back row could play for 14 points. Would be able to get ahead. And then depending on what else you want to play, it very well could be wise for Dauren to go for a full commit, play the Rodea, play the Truffle, the War Council. Should be doing the maths onto whether, I mean, the most points here would be a Weavers, right? So you have 11 plus 3 Self-Eater procs, that's 14. I believe it would do it, but I think it's a little too late.
Yeah, click everything might be not what Dauren can do. How many leader charges was there left?
I believe 3 remaining.
Okay, so that's putting him at like 57. Maybe he could have just got both cards out, or like got the Golden Necker out.
Yeah.
And considering you do get Ramon, Radea is gone, so Shuk, Ramon, Nausicaa, but no carryover on the board, like if we're talking about.
Yeah.
Are you beating Lerio's hand with no with no toe? Maybe that was a line to consider.
Yeah. These Incubuses can be pretty solid here. We do have the Decree being able to, I imagine, guarantee access to... Probably, I'd say Gunseen is more important to find than the Weavers on the Necromancer's turn. And then you can try to find the Crone with the Last Wish. Likely see Incubus beforehand to establish a Soldier Pocket. Did I say Soldier Pocket?
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Relics Pocket.
I mean, the Soldier has been established, so but of course Dauren had a Soldier Pocket with Ramon into Sergeant anyway. Okay, so the engines against Nilfgaard, they do get locked, and we also see that considering the round length is not that long, Dauren decides not to go for Ramon into another lock, just commits the cavalry.
Yeah, and I think splitting the row... Oh, actually no, Lerio was the one to split the rows. Wait, oh no, sorry. Ramon wasn't a choice for the cavalry because that came from the Incubus. It was the Rodeo lock.
Ah, okay,
right?
sorry, yeah, my bad. This is actually, yeah.
Yes, I was like thinking about Fiend and placement and stuff, but this is the second Incubus coming out. It says fleet. I don't think you're doing much with a fleet here. And opts to use the additional leader to make sure this last self-leader doesn't get locked. But yeah, there's no locks remaining. So is it damage that it's being protected from? Not sure.
There's Shoop block. Shoop doing shoopy things.
I surprised Dauren isn't splitting rows to play around the Fiend a bit better. I don't think there's any reason to row stack. Ooh, Witch Apprentice is not too bad.
Witch Apprentice will be active. And now we do see the beauty of sequencing Tome into a special, because yeah, that's bringing another 9 points to the board. So Last Wish, showing either Cyclops or Fiend, and only Fiend is present in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Well, there is of course Vivis as a decent play as well, so...
Yeah, so at this point, I don't think it would be entirely correct to take the Artifact Destroy from Shoop, which, yeah, we see Dauren opting not to take. Just saving it for the last play, and I guess if Knight isn't going to catch up, then we might just see some Shoop Mage shenanigans, which...
everyone, of course, likes very much, surely.
Yes. But yeah, finds the Weaver. So the Weaver's is 11 points here. The Fiend would be 15. Although when I say the Weaver's is 11, I'm not counting the 2 additional points would provide the Whispers. So I think Fiend actually would have been more points there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why, like, the protection doesn't do much, as this is the last turn anyway.
Yeah. You have 1 less body, make the Shoot Mage less unlikely, perhaps? Like, I could see the argument being if you're ahead.
A small unit, that would have been worse to steal.
Or making sure you don't have a super big unit that would make the difference, I'm not sure. But I think it just has to be Shoot Mage for Dauren here. I don't think Destroy Random Enemy would do the trick either.
Shouldn't.
Even if you find
channeling his inner Sanvanter at the moment.
Yeah.
I remember that it didn't matter in the bigger picture, as but it was moral damage when he was playing against the Magawa months ago.
Yeah.
No, goes for the 6s on the Hunter, 3x3.
3 deal 3.
But it's
that
definitely not winning you the game, especially knowing that opponent only has 1 card in the deck.
Yeah, actually, I don't even know if that beats Cyclops because Witch Apprentice 2 points. I think I didn't count, but yeah.
Okay, GG's, and we got the first victory. Where is the screen? And of course, Lemon's favorite deck wins over the Nilfgaard Empire. The Relict Empire is just stronger.
Yes. I feel like our Necro Relics is a bit underrated from a competitive standpoint, and yeah, it goes through immediately here. You love to see it.
Of course, you can also follow the second match that is being broadcast on Metal's channel. That's a reminder, it should be Necris versus Archer. But yeah, as of structure for today's event, it's semi-finals of the top bracket, winners bracket, and then also lower bracket. What is this? Semi?
Wait, there's a prediction going on, but like, isn't the Dex / bracket public?
Yeah, it is, but the series is still ongoing for a long time, so we talked about that with Metal.
Okay.
Short 20 minutes, you can see the result of the first game.
Okay, so
the people will be seeing the result of the first game, but they are just
if they spoil themselves, which you shouldn't. If you're watching the cast here, don't spoil yourselves. You should be sticking with it live / 20 minutes ago with us, so you're not gonna be knowing what is gonna happen. You can be surprised by results. If there's a super cool play to turn it around, then you'll come out of nowhere and you'll be super impressed.
I think people spoil themselves more accidentally because, must go to the bracket to see the decks, click, I seen the score. But, the platform doesn't allow organizers to hide the results, the ongoing results, and maybe publish them on their own wish. So this is just what we have. But yeah, for the predictions, we just decided that we can run them because we do see reverse sweeps and all quite often. So maybe it's the gambler's fallacy to go for this. Oh, he leads 1-0, so he's definitely winning. And then turns out that the lineup was having a weak spot. Speaking of which, oh, okay. What is Dauren queuing from the blue? Should be the monsters most likely. That wish. No. You bet some and you miss some. We do see Nilgard again.
It's interesting that this deck is being taken on both coins straight away. It's always a bit, I guess, abnormal because usually there's a bit of polarization as to which deck prefers which coin. Alternatively, maybe Dauren is trying to ensure that he finds a particular matchup, which could be another reason you start with queuing the same deck.
We've seen a lot of Nilfgaard versus Self-Wound shenanigans, and it doesn't really end up well for Skellige. Of course, this is like Shup, but Shup himself can destroy stuff, can lock stuff, and considering Ramon into Alba Cavalry is a thing. Let's see how Skellige stops itself from damaging itself a bit too much while getting locked.
Yeah, this is quite an awkward hand for Lerio in terms of trying to establish a Svalbard Priest or a Demon Corsair. No Drakkar unless you a Neuromancy for it, which I don't think that's wise, especially when Squirrel exists in the opponent's deck. So if you want to establish one of your bronze engines, you probably have to play the old geared quite early here. Even then, you're likely vulnerable to this assassination unless you delay, and it just starts to get quite awkward. So,
I don't know, maybe he has enough. No, missing Svalbard, missing Gartrol is big. I just feel that maybe you'll have to go for the... Okay.
There's also an argument to just go for the KO Troll in round 1, whilst there's a chance that your opponent is still missing Shoop / Heatwave, particularly Shoop because it's just such an efficient answer for the KO Troll.
And yeah, for now this is Olgier the Mortal. This allows the Svalbard Priest to start working, but the problem is Assassination's present, so I was thinking maybe you somehow establish some board to play around Assassination, play the risk the Neuromancy still to be Squirrel, because Squirrel is such a slow tempo play from blue.
There's also Vial, which you can play this next turn and then boost up the Priest. That would be fine. And I believe... Wait, why protect that? Oh, playing around the Canute. Okay, sure.
Okay, so I removed the artifact from the screen as well, as I didn't remove the player name, so Lerio is on top, Dauren is at the bottom, but the tournament platform usually heals itself after the first game of not showing names. Yep. Okay, bye-bye Priest. No Vial.
Maybe... Target acquired. Yeah, I think Lerio just tried to risk it for the biscuit here, but the biscuit tin just ended up empty. So still not super nice for Dauren in terms of what to play here. Wait, actually, Bruja is kind of funny against Olgierd, never mind.
Yeah, the power cannot be changed, But look, the assassination is out, so please give me more control, says Lerio, and of course Rune Mage into assassination is the play we're seeing here. Or maybe lock.
Decoded weapons is a
Okay.
precision.
Okay, decoded
I was
weapon is
hoping we'd see this.
not as good.
Yes. So do you answer the Canute now to give another Canute later? Or do you just let it stick? You could also play this crossbowman, perhaps. Try to get enough pings onto this Canute to kill it off, but that seems a little questionable
Yeah,
at
the
the same
random
time.
damage cards like crossbowman are not that great. Okay, so we deal with the threat, but then it comes back in later, so... Magical skill again. But not through the graveyard this time around. It's
No.
actually provided to you by Nilfgaard assassins.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, it's not Sigdrifa's right, it's Sigdrifa's wrong.
Ah, you love to hear it.
Yeah, this Brujo just looks super juicy, especially now that you have low power units. You're not going too tall in one, even playing around the spores, although I mean the spores is always coming onto the marine. That's likely the reason why Lerio could actually stick around in this round.
Okay, cue the Simpson gif. In and out and in again.
Goodbye, Rune Mage. More leaders being used up. Not quite ahead. So this is maybe even reassuring for Lerio. The fact that Rune Mage was the choice to answer means that there's no lock in hand, right? Because otherwise that would have been played first. Well, Brujo does get rid of the Berserk ability. And there's no real other way to self-damage now that you've used so many leader charges. So you're probably only getting one more click out of this Canute. Which isn't really what you want.
Nilfgaard being annoying here, removing your Knuts,
Although,
but giving you a chance and then denying it, just like this. Very rude.
Yes, very nice. With the order floating on the board that turn, makes good use combining with the spores to get the one-turn answer. Alternatively, here's a priest immediately being established for Dauren. Only a 1-point engine because there's no further synergies, but could play something with armor next to it perhaps.
Okay, so we see Lerio saying, "You buffed my Knut. I'll do you one better. I'll give it vitality, so I'm definitely not reactivating it by any more means."
Yeah. So
It's Ramon for staying in the round. Armor is nice, of course, for the priest to ping on.
Yes, semi-significant commitment here, but this gets really awkward for Lerio. Like, the Sigdrifa's right is terrible, especially because the priest just summons to the right of the row. The Demon Courser has no armor to play off. The Berserker likely plays for about 8 points. Sigvald's 7 with no other synergies as of now. So I think, can you contest by playing a Berserker?
I mean, you probably can, but do you gain anything out of it? Unless your opponent passes and then you play... it's very awkward. Of course there is like 3 extra points from the vitality, so you're staying closer, but maybe not close enough.
Yeah, I mean, that was more or less just negated by that priest ticken, especially with the armor from Ramon. So round control going over to Dauren. Same as last game, right? Nilfgaard wins the round 1 to begin with. And yeah, now they can establish all their artifacts. We see that the Draco Turtle is finally found, but Demon Corsair gets chucked back into the deck. Even though one of its better targets is now...
Well, Corsairs are not supposed to be riding Draco Turtles, honestly, so it's understandable money then.
That's fair. And Martyrum going back, finds the Pella, but with how gold heavy this hand is. No cavalries. Maybe the Pele can answer a lot from the Rodeo. Norska should just be the top card. Marine should instantly proc. And I don't think there's a slash or anything that, I mean, slash wouldn't even get a kill, but yeah, not worried about damage finishing this off.
So yeah, this is self-wound once again with like, can I please do my game plan, Nilgard? Yeah. And so far with the heat wave, with the lock available, it's a big question mark.
Yeah. No totem, no Troll, no Svarblood makes this quite hard to defend, I'd say, for Lerio. I'd also say likely this heat wave just goes onto the Marine here. This deck doesn't go super duper tall. Yeah, you could maybe heat wave Norsk or whatever it plays battle prep on, but I mean, this Marine, since it's the first play in this round, is definitely going to get to at least 10 points.
So do we see card roll the setup on the rope? Can be one of the two warriors, I suppose. Brix is fine. Is this round gonna be requiring Lerio to play at least a couple more cards? Okay, so Shup, as you mentioned, nice answer. And there goes the card roll, making Dreamviandra not that hot anymore, but at least Lerio's version is running only one of them, so maybe he can avoid breaking that into his hand if we do get round 3.
Yeah, that's all the Nearmancies are now used up. So it has to actually draw everything itself in this next round, because yeah, no tutors remaining for Lerio. And the thing is, as a Calvi deck, Dauren is guaranteed to find all the good stuff, basically. Find the Sergeant and I guess all the best bronzes remaining. We do see Heatwave on Marine, since that is getting kind of tall at this point, but we again see Illusionist onto Priest. In particular, able to negate some of the bleeding in this turn coming up next, since the Priest will trigger before the bleeding and the ship sinks.
Yeah, so there is still, of course, since the Knut was refreshed, there is the combo, so if Dauren has to pass, Lerio should be making the points with Draka Turtle Sigval for Knut, but for now it doesn't look like a good spot to be in.
No. And this time I wouldn't be surprised for Dauren to commit hard with these locations and actually force out combo pieces. But yeah, we still need Lerio to play. Likely has to play some combo piece, but now it can just be answered by either the Heatwave or
that's
very quick pass, actually. Yeah, with the cavalry, Lerio takes the card advantage in last save.
Not sure I don't think that was the plan.
Yeah, not sure if that was intentional from Dauren. It very well might have been, because with the Draco Turtle gone and the Trolled and Knut too, this Sigriff is right is under a lot of threat. That the Heatwave and Rodea together can answer a lot of the things which.
Okay, let's put it into the maybe category. Maybe that was intentional. Like, okay, you got me here.
But yes, I mean, with Svarblood being the main win con for the next round, if Lerio did find both the Svarblood and the Totem, that would maybe have not been so great in this slightly longer round. I mean, granted, you can armor up both these soldiers, but like the Rodea and the Divine are not getting much armor either of them.
But yeah, Lerio definitely can use all the help he can get here with that extra card. Is it good enough? I'm honestly not sold on it, but let's see.
Either.
Let's see.
Be curious to see what this see Dreyfus Rye is going to pull. Do you go for the Draco Turtle for the synergy with the Corsair, or do you try to bring back the Canute? I mean, that seems quite questionable, generally speaking.
Yeah, there is
Unless the
three
Sigil sticks
control
around, which
cards.
I don't see happening.
There are 3 control cards and
1 pillar.
yeah, I'm not sure. Lerio would run the quick calculation through on what do you actually get the most value of. Considering we do see the continuation, it should be the Dragon Turtle indeed, splitting the points between 2 cards, but answering Dragon Turtle is basically answering the Corsair, but this way, well, not exactly.
Yeah, if you wait for the cooldown to be up, then the pillar means you can get another click of the order. That's another +4 points the time the pillar gets played. Not too shabby. I imagine we're going to see the Berserker sequenced such that it triggers the same turn the Barblet gets played.
Yeah, can't answer them all.
But, yeah.
I'm still not sure.
But it
Like,
might-
that Dragon Turtle still sticking with the Corsair or with the Peller.
Yeah,
would not
I
be a
think
better target.
Look, it's easier because we can see both hands, but yes, I mean, Lerio basically drew all the big threats here, as well as the answer to the lock. Okay, we actually see the Corsair locked as well, so maybe if that was the play, then sure, that makes sense.
Like, without Knut, the Sigvald is not that much of a threat. Of course, he will be absorbing all those Sigvald Svalbard explosions, but
Yeah.
it's not that great. You still can unlock Corsair though.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't have to get the Draco Turtle points. And it's not like you have anything better to on. Although, okay, with the explosions. I just like the Corsair because it's a smaller unit.
yeah, plays around the hero a bit more. But yeah, I'm curious how you sequence. You just played the Berserker here first, kind of hedge your bets. I mean, I don't think there's any reason for Dauren not to just respond with the Norsk in that case.
Okay, so decides to put more into this Draco Turtle. Kind of makes sense with the target for Sigvald click as well. And yeah, we do see that Svalbard will be struggling getting through 2 of the 4 cards Dauren has on board.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not even convinced it's that much. I mean, yeah, Lerio might very well just end up with more units that get damaged by this Svalbard. So there might I assume you still just play the Berserker first? But then if you don't want to do the triple trigger, you'd have to use the leader on the Berserker to trigger it prematurely and then play the blob.
And then you damage what you transformed anyway, so...
Yeah, that's true.
And what you spawned as well.
But also playing it this turn, it wouldn't summon an additional Fnatic, so I think it's still sort of better off playing like this. But I don't think it's a 30 points Svalbard either here. So it's kind of a moot point.
We all see every time this Svalbard is getting plate metal going into the block Ayaya, but here he is just doing the negatives and his own army of followers, and it's 1-1 even with the extra card. The self wound just cannot do that against Nilfgaard. They are definitely not friends.
Yeah. Last say doesn't matter as much in self-food matchups. Typically, it's more so whether the big threats get answered or not. I believe I'm correct in saying that. Unless you're able to like wait out the answers with like double last or something, but that's super unlikely. Unless you're trying to like use foul blood against like a Simless or something like that, then the last say matters a bit more.
Okay, so Dauren sniped the match that he preferred. Playing that wish into self-wood would have been probably less pleasant. So yeah, we did see Nilfgaard Chrome Blue, but expecting the self-wound, that was the right call to make. And now the series are tied at 1-1, and Lerio goes first again, so we are likely to see Harmony Mirror, or is it Deathwish Smork from Red against the Harmony?
Deathwish Smork from Red sounds super sketchy to me, because this Erendite on Red against Harmony is not doing much. They're gonna, I expect Harmony will just bleed out all the combo pieces for Deathlock, for like Deathlock, Succubus AQ, like that stuff make it awkward for the Deathwish player.
So should be Green Mirror.
Maybe.
Unless Lerio sees something in the self-wound from blue against Harmony. But that's the nice spot of the competitive Gwent scene and how it's organized. You can try to think, and sometimes you end up overthinking stuff. What you shouldn't be overthinking if you like competitive Gwent, look at the Sigway. You can, don't think much and just support the community tournaments organized by Metal. The links are on the screen. We are collecting money for the Challenger that is happening mid-July, and this is the qualifier for that event as well. Links are under !crowdfund if you don't want to type them. And yeah, the Harmony Mirror is what we see. The call was kinda correct with all the considerations players had to make. Shiro Waters, do you just burn it?
Maybe. I mean, if it can give you round control, perhaps, but I mean, yeah, if you see waters into waters, that could be a consideration. We do see Saskia found for both players. Dana and the final mulligan for Lerio. Could see Dana to start off here. I'm curious if that changes sort of in a Harmony Mirror or not. I mean, the only answer would be that Heat Wave or Shiru for the Dana.
Yeah,
players, not finding.
Both players found a lot of similar cards. Shiro, Water, Heat Wave, Saskia, as you mentioned. Let's see. How different will it get? How reactive is Dauren, for example, to what Lerio does, or is it just copying? Or maybe just getting out of the round?
I guess the other considerations for the Dana is that you're probably playing the Saskia immediately. You have two specials in hand which aren't being boosted. You have the Shiru, which I don't know what power you want the Shiru to get to, but boosting him to 4 might not be the play if you want to do that Shiru Waters play. Chameleon isn't very good to boost either because it's going to be replayed, so Dana's only buffing up like a few units that actually matter. I don't think it's that crazy for Dana, so we might see it being held on to for later on.
So Dauren is having a big think here of, am I just answering and mirroring what my opponent is playing, or... Okay, Tyrion. Can say that's committal to anything. It's definitely
Yeah.
not the Saskia commitment, and probably we are not seeing Saskia anymore from the red coin player here.
No. Yeah, Lerio probably either committing to Xantharian, sorry, Xantharian at a minimum, and then likely either the second Chameleon or the double poison.
Not a big fan
The
of
Dragons.
double chameleon gun. Certainly.
And, yeah, and since you're not going to pass at 7 here, I'd expect it to be the double Dried Ranger most likely. Already 2 6s on board for Dauren. I mean, if you're going to shoot with Waters, this is basically Waters but better, right?
Yeah.
But with you, Donna, there's no
Round
reason to go for such a... Yeah. Let's do the Harmony being spread. What tag did the Chameleon gain? Again, the Dryad tag.
I'm not sure, was there any reason to click him before playing? Anything?
I don't think so. It was a beast previously, and if you played a Dryad, it would have had Harmony, so... Yeah, I'm
so
not
I guess
sure
the second chameleon... No,
maybe...
I mean, unlucky,
Yeah.
but you trigger the harmony anyway, as you say, yeah, so unless you wanted to get a beast on the board, but you already have a beast anyway. Ah, wait, yeah, it does get a new one.
Yeah.
So, much. I guess Lerio went for the double chameleon round 1 victory line. Was it intentional? Probably. Everything players do is intentional sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Except losing.
Yeah, we can have that.
So, yeah, I mean, Dauren is not winning. I guess the only question is whether another card is played past 6, but with every other card being gold, I don't expect anything to be played.
Okay, Berserker. The best setup for Spicy Shirus is out of the deck for Lerio. Now, there is another one, so he can rely on his services to get the extra spice. Good draws on the first card for both.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing is there's a bit of asymmetry. Lirio's Dawn has evolved, Dauren's is not. Dauren still has Saskia. So if you do see a bleed, could be quite an interesting sort of consideration that maybe Madon is better because it's evolved, and your hand could be sort of awkward to gain the Dana value.
Pushing into Saskia. We are closing on the point of like Waters Shiro line somewhere here.
Yeah. But the other thing with Saskia is what's then you just pass, you go into long round 3 where your opponent has Saskia advantage.
Is she that
Which will help you
great?
gain a bunch of
blocking
tags for Dana.
I
It's still very solid.
Okay, we see the scenario exchanged for the Heatwave.
Yeah.
And
Now
now
this gives-
Waters come as well.
Yeah.
And we play like there is no tomorrow.
I am the forest.
Okay.
And the forest is me.
You can of course commit a leader charge and offset them, but you have another 6 in your hand, so it's not like that helping too much.
You're exactly right on the money.
You do burn them. The question has been got. But where 2 Dryads burn, potentially 1 comes back.
It's like a reverse Hydra, gosh. Yeah, Ethereum's nice here. You can give you already have a unit on board to give over the Harmony tag, get a bit of additional Harmony generation. Now, the thing is, since Dauren did the first Shiru, if we did see the Waters coming out, that'd be another 6-point opposing unit for Lerio's Shiru to potentially find. But it is the Saskia play, able to get ahead here for Dauren as well. And now is where it gets a bit difficult to contest for
I
Lerio.
know, I'm not feeling it. The push.
I'm not either, but I don't think it's. I don't think the long round would have been good either.
Forest is me.
I think while Saskia is, yeah, at like extra points, you can find the Shiro lines maybe, and she's also blocking some of the tanks. But we've seen Lerio also commit double chameleon, so he most likely was doomed in a long round. Just considering all the things that got played already.
I think Lerio probably should just go all in here. Make it awkward with the scenario for Dauren. Make it awkward with these waters still remaining. Make it awkward with this Dana being held, because on a deploy that's still nothing right now. Same for this sort of Percival. Now you don't really want to poison like these Dryads. Now you just play the Dana. Goes for a double harmony onto this one unit. That's interesting. Although keep in mind, if you play the Dana, then the Shiro will be immediately going to 5. And answer this Saskia. But yeah, it's, I don't know if that's so wise.
The wilds shall reclaim your fields.
Okay, and there goes the commander, providing potential carryover onto the last say Dusk aspect.
I think you could. Is there an argument to go double leader Shiro at 3 here, even? Like, it sounds not great, but you do deal with a couple of quite important engines. Your opponent basically has no engines remaining at that point, apart from the Saskia and this Poison Dryad, which you can finish off.
Okay, you can. No, you cannot save another leader charge as the harmony will be triggered on the ranger, so not easy to set up.
Yeah.
What an awkward game.
Okay, we have 6 coming up.
Still upon
With the 7s, with the chameleon.
Yes. Very nicely played there by Dauren, and yeah, with the double chameleon being used, that was not an option for Lerio. So now, yeah, you could go for... But yeah, if you play your Shiro, now your harmonies go to 6. Maybe you can wait till they go to 9, perhaps. Or... Wait, if you play Dana this turn, then you can Shiro next turn on Harmony proc at 8. That could be interesting. And there's no way for Dauren to not trigger Harmony here, unless you play Scenario, but Percival does it.
Yeah, this goes to 9 now with the chameleon OP.
Oh my. Forgot that little chameleon there.
And the issue is, even if it's close, there is still a Saskia commander, so Lerio cannot go like, I was so close of getting out, there would have been like a leader charge, but Dauren is managing this round, bleed defense very nicely.
You just heatwave the Percival and go all in with Shiro? I mean, that sounds so bad, but I think Lerio just needs to threaten the 2-0 here. At a minimum, you need to get the scenario out next turn. Yeah. Yeah, you can't... If you pass here as Lerio, you lose the game on the spot. So you have to commit. Even if it feels bad, you have to do it. But yeah, this year can be a big swing. Is there an argument that Dauren should discard here? No. With Chameleon, you can get the Dryads to 11, and then
11 is bad. 11 is the Shiro.
No. 10 is fine. Well, yeah, 10 is fine.
So, Dana carry over time, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, he clicks.
Wait, a click? Surely, okay, you need a leader in a spot. No, okay. This feels like Dauren is just artificially introducing a lose condition now, right?
Okay, Lerio will have to play all the... No, not all the leader charges, but yeah, that was definitely not necessary to click the chameleon.
And then you just...
and now, yeah, also the last leader charge. Nice points made here by Lerio, and...
Now Dauren needs to commit both cards.
Finisher.
Yeah, I think Dauren might have sort of cinched defeat from the jaws of victory here. It feels... is this even too early?
Is not making it,
yeah,
especially with no
harmony trigger because of the end theory. That's a 2-0.
Okay, it looked so good until it did not. Until it backfired greatly. So if you are a sub of this channel, please spam some Shirus in chat, because we've seen a good one, but it was just delivered on the plate for Lerio by Dauren, and this is how the harmony mirror goes. Apparently. A bit surprising outcome.
Yeah, I feel like... yeah, I mean, if you're bleeding, you have to go basically all in there for Lerio. Like, a soft bleed wasn't going to work, especially with the early Shiro coming up from Dauren. And then, yeah, the lose condition for Dauren was, don't get Shiru'd. Use your leader to protect from the Shiru. You have 2 leader charges because you only need to choose one to stop your own Shiru. You had the chameleon clicks to worry about. You weren't even under any pressure to sort of click the chameleon that turn. You could have delayed.
I would admit that I was tunnel visioned on the water Dryad, so I didn't see the rest of the board state. But I would believe that, yeah, nothing was better than burning double 11 on the board.
And yeah. Yeah, I mean, and look, maybe if you just were able to use Sheer immediately, then the waters wouldn't have really mattered, because, like, you know, kill the Dryads immediately. It's the same as killing them when they grow up. That sounds really bad, but yeah. But yeah, also the fact that Lerio's daughter had harmony and boosted other units.
Mm-hmm.
Dauren's daughter just had harmony. It didn't do much as a late play, though.
I mean, I think he felt that he's in a very good position. Answering scenario, answering waters. There was no Saskia already committed in round 1, so overall the position was nice. The Shiro is a card that opens a lot of lines though, and yeah, Lerio definitely got his foot into that door of a big Shiro.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, what, 22-point Shiro in terms of damage, shutting down 2 Harmony engines, which granted with only one, actually no more Harmony proc with the Antherian coming out, I think, but...
So now self-wound for Lerio against Harmony and Consume. Base monster matchup, doomed for monsters. They do have Heatwave, right? So...
yeah, it's generally not a good matchup, although if Self-Wound misses things, then monsters can have a chance. Although the fact that there are, like, Cyclopses does give a bit more versatility for the monsters. For example, Knut is there for 1 turn. You have ways to potentially answer some of the bears from the totem before the Spellboard comes down. Spellboard also unlikely to stick for more than a turn. Of course, Erendite can be damaged in a later round. You have Heatwave, probably for that Sigwald. But yes, and it's also generally pretty easy for Deathwish to establish the round 1 control. What you very well might see is Deathwish from blue coin, just tempo passes at 7 and even wins on even because Self-Wound just has to overcommit to catch up at that point sometimes.
But players are having a big thing. I think might be on Lerio's part resetting for the last 2 matches, maybe on Dauren's side deciding what to queue now.
Yeah, I think that Dauren needs to just mental reset at this point. Like, that last game hurts to lose because I think that was entirely in your hands, right? So you need to sort of just move on from that. Say, well, okay, that happened. That's in the past now. I just need to focus on the here and now. Focus on beating Self-Wound. Look for your outs. Look what you can do. For Deathwish, use your overwhelming tempo, right? You can get round control very easily. And then just try to make it so that Self-Wound can't establish their combo pieces in a nice way.
Yeah.
For Harmony, I mean, I'm not super familiar with that matchup. It's probably again going to be similar to with Self-Wound just giving up the round 1 and likely just relying on Spellblood to bring it back. But then we need to build up a good Shiru. Use your Waters, use your Saskia to get that big round control.
So I'm not sure how easy it is to line up Shiru there, but that's a big swing if you pull it off. But yeah, so far Self-Wound is not doing as well for Lerio as the other decks, winning from the first attempt. But there were lines how the Harmony mirror goes in the other direction, so it's not like, oh, Self-Wound bad, everything else is great. We'll see. Well,
we'll be seeing.
Sorry?
I was just going to say we'll be seeing a lot more Self-Wound, I think, over the course of the tournament, most likely.
Yeah.
Or unless it gets banned again, which, well, if Lerio banned it in this match, likely going to ban it in the future games too.
Yeah, I brought the community Gwent Challenger rules and setting onto the screen as well, so we know that Mayamon is there as the top 1 of the Crown Point rankings. And today we have 2 more names. This weekend we have 2 more names. Today we set up the finals, but they are happening tomorrow. But now we do have a match on our hand, and Lerio is on the match point, playing Self-Wound against the Deathwish. Deathwish, of course, likes the blue coin for the reason of having this Urn of Shadows. Has tutoring available in the Royal Decree, but we don't see Dagon. So you do have access to Brewers or Dagon, but not both. And
that's so bad.
That's so awkward.
What's okay? Is there an argument to greed the round if you have the situation? Do you just greed the Dagon into like its evolved form and hope to put pressure on the Heatwave for Lerio? Maybe. And yeah, it's the immediate Brewers. So I think without the Dagon, this tempo pass becomes a lot less possible for Dauren to sort of force a preemptive win, even from blue coin. Especially with Lerio having this Drakar and Priest. Yeah, you can play. I mean, Drakar isn't going to be answered by Cyclops straight away.
I mean,
Priest
leader charge committed, and it can be. If you decide to spend, you consume from the leader, then yeah, Cyclops answers that, but it might be overcommitment, considering your opponent probably has other means of setting up the combo.
Yeah, like from memory, because this was one of the matchups. Okay, it wasn't Self-Wound, it was the, if you remember, like the patch out with Fury version of this sort of list, which had like Sove instead of like the Draco Turtle sort of shenanigans. But yeah, like this, like the Skelly would often just give up the round 1, and then aim to defend with the Swalblood. So we see Slayer Harpy eating up the Brose Ritual. Double Succubus out already is not what you want either in terms of those pools.
Yeah, at least you have the location, but you'd prefer one of them sticking to the deck for now. No
Also
reason.
makes the eating placement for your Unbreaker Warrior very awkward too.
Yeah, that would have been more fortunate for Dauren as well. But we do see they consume.
And I think this is also really nice for Lerio. Playing the Priest as his third card, not the second, means that if Dauren were to answer, it would be going below that 7-card threshold, giving Lerio a chance to pass. Whereas if Dauren just passes, well then great, you got your Priest Drakar combo to stick for the 3 turns needed or whatever to catch up. So yes, then it should be quite easy to make up this gap without needing to overcommit too poorly. And Long Round's Foulblood is very good against Deathwish, let's just say, so I don't think Dauren can afford to go for that sort of Temporal Pulse here either.
One thing Lerio definitely doesn't want to do in this situation, we also see the Sakubai combo broken here with the kill, and now one of them is of course gone, but now you have no problem, you just rely on the one from location and the second being there.
The problem is there's a Skrull in Leria's list.
Yeah, but you'll have to take your chances here, I suppose. Winning the round 1 is overly important.
Because, also keep in mind there's also Skrull in Dauren's list, so Lerio can't really go for like an early Canute Sigvald, let that die in an early round and bring it back later because it will likely, just get screwed. You probably want to bring the Canute back the immediate turn after it dies to play around that Skrull, I'd say. Skrull found for Lerio, and with Dagon now evolved, you're not using the Skrull to answer that Dagon, it's, very good now to just, no more Succubus value. You even see Detlef getting Mulligan? That's interesting.
I mean, you have the Deathwish tutor, and the alternative is the Breach Troll, so it makes sense with the Hillock.
Sorry, I'm just blind. I completely missed the Hillock right at the right there. I was looking at the middle of the hand and just not
clearing up the confusion a little bit. I'm pretty certain I do tunnel vision and stuff as well. So Heatwave check immediately. And you kind of have to, don't you?
The alternative is set up like a KO Troll into Olgierd, but like, that's not that great.
Especially with Kyle Trolls potentially getting Heatwaved and Dauren sensing what's up. Although, of course, the Deathwish cannot just buff Dagon out of removal range.
No.
So, if you get the chip damage, maybe it's not as devastating as getting an extra card.
Yeah. You could maybe see some shenanigans with Aaron Dyke, but I mean, this likely just gets Heatwaved. Not maybe? This is a long consideration. Okay.
So, at the moment, effects summoning the lowest power Deathwish and Storm that Lerio doesn't care about.
No Toad, okay. Dauren is offering up a choice for Lerio as to what to Heatwave right now. Probably the other getting eaten with AQ. This third Deathwish effect for Dagon, spawning Storm on the opposite row for 2 turns, not doing awfully much. And likely the 2 damage to the lowest enemy units isn't doing too much either. But I don't think you can't let that get to 5, because then extra Dagon in hand is just...
No.
No, and then you have your AQ, get another Dagon, the one from hand coming back. I think that's just... you can't afford that. Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
not surprisingly Dauren that disappears from the board.
Yeah.
No more heat waves though. Can float whatever you wish.
Yeah. And there's no rush to play the scroll. You can always lead with it in like the round 3. If you're not expecting the succubuses to be played in addition this round, which you still have the AQ and the Dettlaff for consumes. Like this succubuses ain't coming back anytime soon. You're able to establish other threats here for Lerio. A bit annoying to not have access to the KO Trolled. I don't think you can do many shenanigans with the Draco Turtle here. It likely is going to be Totem into Swablood, I imagine. And then just putting pressure on this Heat Wave to have something between the KO Trolled, the Sigvald sticking. Draco Turtle, yeah. So it could be something like Totem into Berserker into Blob. Very scary, a lot of damage to the entire board. That's gonna be what, like 4 damage to everything?
Yeah, Dauren needs to establish the board for that. Okay, drones are small, but there is a lot of them, but
Yeah.
and the Dettlaff will provide targets. Okay, we do see that amount of units is growing rapidly. Does it ask for commitment of Sigvald? Already we do see the highlight on the card. Like the lines you mentioned are nice and all, but maybe you don't catch up that easily, so...
Yeah. Look, the thing is, since you're able to shut down the succubus now, like this Death Wish, apart from Erendite, they have quite limited sort of points in the round 3. So you're fine if you have this Sigvald sticking and you're able to get out of this round. I think Lerio is in a pretty good spot at that point. So this is sort of the reverse to the last game, where Dauren doesn't have much left for the round 3, so it's sort of forced to keep playing into this round.
Yeah, looking at the deck, it's a tragedy to have a hand like this in round 3, unless you preserve something.
Except the problem is that Dauren isn't an engine deck. There aren't engines getting value here, as opposed to last game when Lerio was bleeding. In fact, the Swablood only becomes better the more units that Dauren ends up playing. And especially if the Sigvald sits on the board and doesn't end up eating this Heat Wave. So, okay, see Screw, bit of a slow play. Lerio might be doing the Swablood math, saying, well, Swablood will get me ahead here, so I can afford to just do the slow play and just shut down any succubus shenanigans. So now Doldalock maybe just plays for a Consume with Chimera at this point.
Yeah.
And it might actually be the case, because there's no other Consume in hand unless you commit Leader.
Okay, there we go. And Chimera is getting featured here, also bringing 1 extra point on the Dettlaff. You'll love to see that.
Oh, wow.
Synergy, wow. D-line.
Wow. So, yeah. And also, of course, Lord Riptide, not good here in terms of damage. You can play it for 10 points. It has armor. There's even might now for Dauren. So that armor helps against the Swablood. Maybe just Heatwave the Sigvald as well and just allow the K-Troll to go through later, but that's very bad when there's still Draco Turtle in deck.
Yeah, this is more of a game where the Blob Chan can attack and point swing compared to the previous one. Okay, so Lerio just continues. After setting up the Sigvald, he's saying like, I have an option of triggering it or like buffing it, but for now I'll continue playing bronzes.
I think good play from Dauren, just dealing with the Swablood, the Berserker, so there's not another bear coming out for the Swablood to do more damage to the board. We could see Canute actually being played here even. I think if Svalbard is not enough for Lerio, but it is just the Svalbard coming down.
And more
So-
explosions, fireworks, welcome here. And yeah, you're not doing much going tall. With Mark Drum, you can do that later. More
Yeah.
fireworks, Mr. Lerio?
You click at least, probably considering whether you click the 4 power or the 3 power. Those sort of maths are beyond me right now.
Leader charge commitment, maybe.
Yeah.
Burden,
I believe
but
there's
with
a
Dragon
slight
Turtle there is no necessity for that. Of course, that's not enough to catch up, as he was damaging his own stuff as well, but I would assume the math has been applied.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can just
Yeah.
martyr and click the old gear super easily, and
Have a low
there
unit,
you
you
go.
also have a unit resistant to damage.
Yeah. So, yeah, it says Riptide, Heatwave, and Erendite. Erendite at 13 damage right now for Dauren. Not bad at all. But then the rest is just literally bronzes, and you only have one Death Wish unit in this bridge troll. So, all these consumes, not doing very much. Megascope.
Was there
Probably
anything
hoping for the
better than...
squirrel.
I guess this squirrel is potentially better.
Yeah. As for Lerio, a Neomancy is a great find. Draws into the K-Troll. Gotta love that. Viola's alright. I mean,
So there is still 4 points of carryover in the
better.
graveyard, triggering on the breach troll.
yeah.
Finds one blacksmith for 5,
Yeah.
and then you have a warrior still coming in. So is this your Riptide? I guess the
I'll
priority is to
quickly-
deal with the graveyard.
Gets rid of the Sigvald, says, I don't want you bringing that back. Because that puts too much pressure on my heat wave. Does let the K-Troll stick for a turn here. I have a feeling that it's likely just gonna end up going onto this Draco Turtle. Might be possible for Dauren to win this if able to shut down enough of the threats coming out from Lerio.
No last
Riptide
saves.
is
You,
decent
you
points.
cannot hold the Draco Turtle as potential, I don't know, finisher, not finisher, but
Yeah.
a power play. So we do see Lerio just not developing his big cards at the moment. Gives
Yeah.
a big flash.
And I still building up to 15 damage. I don't know if Lerio has enough time to establish these points and get these sort of pieces working together. I don't even think the right is particularly good in its current state. It can bring back a Svalbard, but it's not looking so hot.
Yeah. Well, the heat wave is looking hot.
Yes, very hot.
We do see that Lerio decides, well, I don't have the last say, and the leader charges. What are they for, other than the Draco Turtle? So the exchange is happening immediately.
I like this a lot because it forces the heat wave whilst letting the K-Troll stick. Although I think K-Troll with no Draco Turtle, no Sigvald, it doesn't really have the synergy to do awfully much at this point either.
Yeah, the Sigvald would have been very nice here, as that
Yeah.
kinda denies Iron Dite at the moment. But there is a breach troll playing for what, 12? Can't say no to that.
might have underrated Dauren's answers here. The heat wave might be sufficient combining with this find on the squirrel. Because, yeah, the threat of the Erendite makes it very awkward for Lerio to establish the Canute. I mean, this has to be the blob, I imagine. Probably with leader and click to get the extra bear.
Gets the extra bear. No time to click the totem, but there was no point in that anyway.
Yeah. This is easy for Dauren. There's 2 huge tempo plays, 16-point Erendite, Bridge Troll, Bring Back Toad also playing for 12. 3 points on the leader. I don't think a Canute's going to be able to quite scratch the surface here.
Yeah, Lerio needs like 14 points here, 15, 16 to win, and that doesn't look like he's getting there. Unless it somehow gets very close, but I don't believe so.
Yeah. 7. Yeah. Can't even bring another bear out with this Canute either, so yeah. Wow. Kudos to Dauren. What can be quite an awkward matchup, able to space the removals just right. And put enough pressure in the round 2 that despite some very unfortunate draws in the round 1, despite both the succubuses coming out way too early, putting the squirrel, putting the heat wave to good use.
Turns out Breach Troll OP.
Yeah.
And we do have ourselves a good long series with a decider on the horizon. There we go.
And it will be Harmony Self-Wound with what, blue coin now for the Self-Wound. And red coin for Harmony, kind of the reverse of what these decks usually gets taken on, I would imagine.
Yeah, the question is, does Harmony have enough answers? They do have poisons in addition to Heat Wave and Shiro lines. So you can purify them all, but there are at least some things you can do with the Purify. And also like Sigvald. But yeah, the Heat Waves and stuff like this is a big threat to self-wound, and we do see the Heat Wave being clutch, I think, in both matches that Lerio lost with the skill again today.
Yeah, I think... Did Lerio... Yeah, no. Yeah, the self-wound has lost round 1 in both games so far. Dauren made it really awkward on the bleed, and then was able to use the control tools to just put it over the line.
And now, speaking about losing round 1, can you avoid that from the blue coin?
Yeah.
Well, you kinda don't get a choice. You are in the hands of your opponent, and we do see Dauren finding Saskia here. Dana is present, as well as the tutors and the Heat Wave, so I put out this question of can Lerio save his card? Like, you cannot go too greedy on your own. No waters. That would have been potentially a tool to win round 1 a bit more cheaply for Dauren.
There is the Saskia at least, and I feel like you still would rather play the Saskia over the waters in the round 1, simply because the Saskia helps with thinning, makes it a bit more likely you'll find like your scenario and whatnot. So we have a Drakkar as a powerful bronze engine, no priest in hand to follow up with, no Corsair either. Maybe this Mask of Rubros can find something good. Also interested to see what this verification ends up doing. Will it be used offensively to shut down Dauren's scenario? Because that's such a bad trade in tempo. But at least if you're playing the Svalbard in the same round as you go for the verification, you're able to kind of nullify a bit of that difference.
Oh, look.
And
Hakiri card. We didn't see the setup from Lerio.
Yeah, argument to have just led with the KO Troll to have the ability to shut down the Donna. But yeah, Donna sticking, as you mentioned, being in the hands of Dauren, Donna sticking, I don't think those hands of Dauren will be so happy to just give up the round.
So of course there is an access to Heatwave. Dauren also managed to assemble quite the collection of tags in his hand. Ain't almost all of them unique, barring the elves.
Yes, and also technically the beasts, I suppose, but I mean,
yeah,
Chameleon
okay.
isn't going to stay a beast, so
and
they're
also
basically
the
different.
carryover on the Chameleon doesn't make any sense. But yeah, this is the problem of I'll set up my board and I'll remove your card later. The leader charges are there to protect from it. And Dauren is quite happy with what's happening at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, so the two removals you need to play around with the Canute, as well as that KO Troll, but of course, for the KO Troll, it needs to be played and then sit on board for a turn, at which point Dauren might even just go for a Heatwave onto the KO Troll to keep the Donna alive.
Somebody mentioned that you're 2 times louder than I am. I guess I forgot to bring the mic closer, but thanks for letting us know, Red Phoenix. Much appreciated. Okay,
Apologies.
so finally the heat wave. Maybe Lerio was actually playing for that. You'll have to buff and spend a leader charge and make your Shiro more awkward. And I'll heat wave that, so you allow a little bit more carryover, but you get the leader carryover out, and well, the harmony, stacking up those boosts on a unit is nice and all, but in the end, you'll have to also play something in round 1, so...
Also the delayed Saskia. Like, this is a pass for Lerio. Saskia doesn't get ahead.
Yes. And
now... with Chameleon out, round 1 again. But I wouldn't say it's as bad, because Farblood tends to clean up Chameleons quite easily. This was the worst poison that was found, so... probably happier that that was thinned out compared to Dried Ranger, but yeah, probably would have rather that had been an abandoned girl instead.
There we go, scenario. Mount for Dauren.
I wonder if Lerio will keep the Doom in hand here.
So risky.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Dauren has been heatwaving this location in previous times, so maybe so. Instant verification. Yeah, this is probably going to be a long bleed, and likely similar to the last game we just saw. It's going to be Svalblood to try and clean up all these bodies on the opponent's side of the board.
Nice tag denial on the beast, giving your opponent Elder Prayer, denying the Lake Guardian Dusk aspect carryover, but also, yeah.
Ooh. That Great Sword is a great pull. Very nice synergy with that Svalblood, of course.
I am the forest, and the forest is me.
Okay, so Shiro at 5 can be at 8. Is the numbers to look for Lerio, but unlike us, Lerio doesn't see and doesn't know what was in hand, what wasn't, so that's always this a code that you can should solve yourself, looking at what your opponent is doing, what's lining up, what's getting hit.
Yeah, like he'll know that this year I either got buffed by 2 in the round 1 or not. And now kind of has a lot more numbers to play around as a result of that.
Mean, Call of the Forest is also a nice addition because Shiro is usually not reaching 4, but with that he can.
So it's literally all multiples of 3 are now... Oh, actually not quite, because Cole would take it... Actually, yeah, if it was at 3, it would take it to 4. So sort of everything you need to play around here. See Poison as an answer. But we see that this would result in Call for Forest being committed for a second Poison follow-up. Could also Neuromancy Appeller if Lerio really wanted, but
there are still more poisons to come.
Oh, Pella was played anyways, so
Okay.
that's not even possible.
That's not a thing then. Fair enough.
Oh, it's discarded, but yes. No worries about that.
Show me what flows in your veins.
Okay, so we do have a double 5 on the board. And okay, since Lerio decided he didn't flash last turn, trying that he doesn't need to, especially since, well, you are clashing with the unit immune to the damage, so it didn't really matter if the harmony was triggered one more time. But yeah, with the location use, Greatsword grows to 6. Of course, it's one click away from being removed.
Feels like a tempting Shiru, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get some clean answers. Now, you can see the Dauren follow-up to refresh the location. But if the poison goes through, suddenly kind of back to square one here for Lerio. Alternatively, Totem could be a safer sort of follow-up, setting up the Spellblood just to be able to catch up. Then at that point, you have kind of limited tools for the round 3, but yeah, I think this is kind of forced. Just have this flexibility. If this poison follow-up comes through, then yeah, you just have to go for this Spellblood. I don't think there's much of two ways about it. See, Willow committed, actually proccing Harmony here. Higher committed than the Dried Ranger.
This Elder Bear definitely likes the Forest of Brokilon as his new home. He's been thriving, harmonizing with everything.
Still no Heatwave committed from Dauren, which is very nice going into the potentially shorter round 3 where Lerio will have a bit of a tougher time getting multiple threats on board at the same time. We do see the initial Sigvald. I guess Spellblood wouldn't have been enough to catch up at this point. Wanting to try to bit off an extra threat. And again, the thing with this Capture Adept is it's not going to necessarily help too much. When the Spellblood comes down, the last leader providing quite a bit of boost on this Weeping Willow, maybe a bit more significant in that regard. Spellblood can deal like 4 damage to a lot of things now, as the synergy with the Sigvald, of course.
And we do see that Lerio knows that he'll have to catch up anyway. At one moment, bam bam bam. Almost gets there. Not exactly.
Yeah, I think a leader commit and then clicking the Spellblood would do the trick here. Problem is, I'm not sure then how you would re-trigger the Spellblood next turn. It does offer the pass. Yeah.
So there is a Draca Turtle in, but also Martyrum. So Martyrum should be doing the trick.
Could also just commit the leaders here to get the Dwim carryover.
Is it enough?
I mean, it should be with the blob, I imagine.
Ah, you mean the entire, not transferring the last one. Okay,
so,
fair enough, yeah. This way, sure, and that's a great carryover because, well, that heat wave is not doing much anymore. Or like, it does do something, but that's not the threat. The trait you'd want to see.
Yeah, if K-Troll gets Heatwave, then it means that the Draco Turtle goes through, or something from the Sigriff is right.
Okay, top deck mode for Dauren.
Poison number 1 found. Purify potentially not that impactful here.
There are poisons, there is waters. And also Percival. Okay, so it's a Dryad, Dwarf, and a Beast. 2 triggers for the Harmony, no poison connection. but you have a big poison and heat wave.
Yes.
The scorching poison.
Yeah.
And once again, the self wound having all sorts of cards in round 3. Usually rely on a couple big ones, but there we go. Maxi round 3 on a 6 points.
Yeah, that's not great. But I think I'm curious what this. It really depends what the heat wave does as to what the Sig Reaper's right can pull back. I think whether you go for like a Canute maybe take extra value on the Draco Turtle or the Sigvald. I mean, yeah.
Can't really draw conclusions by only one series, but yeah, I'm wondering how did the self-wound do in the opposite semi-final, the Nequist versus Archie. Of course, the players already finished as Metal raided us some time ago, so we are the deciding semi-final.
To be fair, what's it called? All of Dauren's lists here that weren't banned, I think, the Self-Wound too, they all have like heat waves and I think tools and graveyard punish to, at the very least, have a possible matchup into Self-Wound. But if other players, I'm not sure what Archie's and Nequist's decks look like. If they are more devotion, they don't have the heat wave, don't have the banishes, don't have the graveyard removal, it can be a much better time for the Self-Wound bit. Yeah, this like if this heatwave comes down on the Draco Turtle, I'm not sure how Lerio can get much else done in this round. Like he's just playing awkward pieces, and then Harmony kind of just point slams better.
What do you need?
There we go.
But, yeah.
As the Harmony removing operation starts.
Yeah, I don't think you lead it here because.
No, besides not true.
Like,
He is not expecting a thing worthy of 9 damage.
I'm not sure why the heatwave wasn't taken the turn before, unless you're scared of the Canute, but I don't even think there's anything else going potentially tall enough for that to really be scary. Maybe a Dracar, but that's...
This is very close. 6, 7, 8. Was there a Spores? There was, but Lerio doesn't have the last say, so it would be troll to keep it. But Dauren doesn't know that, so keeps the bird as the last card.
What? This? Scratch.
And this bird is 14.
It's
just 1 point short.
Oh my lord! Wow.
Yeah, definitely cards and maybe lines that you could probably take, as you mentioned, the heat wave. Saving something on your side of the board would have been grand for Dauren. But we are congratulating Lerio with finishing the day with a victory and getting himself more free time. Now has to play tomorrow. But today we only, if I'm not mistaken, watching Dauren versus loser of Archie versus Nequist. So congrats.
Sounds about right. Yeah, congrats Lerio. And then now the good thing for both Lerio and Archie, the other player making it through to the upper final, is that they now have 2 shots, essentially. Win either the winner's final or win the loser's final. If you win either of those games, you punch your ticket through to the challenger.
Yeah.
So it's really, really great position to be in for both those players. Dauren and Nequist, not the end of the road, but you do need to now make the redemption.
3 in a row is what you...
2 in a row.
2 in a row, lower bracket. Ah yeah, fair enough. There is no grand final in this one, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, no losses allowed from now on. And yeah, we are done with the first match of the day. There will be another one, but we'll take a break before that. Lerio says, I thought I'm cooked, GG. But yeah, this is what you feel like when only... like you win only by 1 point.
1 point. And yeah, that was some very, very close games for sure.
Yeah, okay, so hope you enjoyed that. We will be back after a short break, but yeah, it's probably like 10-15 minutes depending on the players' availability. Okay, 15 minutes from now we should be starting. Of course, that's on delay, so you'll see it much later, but yep, you're still enjoying the previous series, so okay, we'll be back.
See you soon.
Okay, so we are back, guys, and the match should be starting in like 5-7 minutes, most likely. The Dauren Lerio has ended. We'll need to look at the decks, as we didn't see Nequis lineup closely. You probably already checked it out, guys, but we didn't talk about that on stream yet. But yeah, this is the last match of the day, as the finalists are figured out today, but the matches are happening tomorrow. So the finals are happening tomorrow. So at the moment, this is Dauren versus Nequis, and I'll need to also remove the wins and losses from the previous match. So yeah, that's the lineup. We see Nequis with Enslave, with Arachas Swarm, Guerrilla's Tactics, and Pirate's Cove. So we are witnessing some Syndicate. But now let's open the decks on screen so that we can talk about them more closely. And I'm opening, well, Nequis's decks, Enslave, so you can start, Lemon, with the Enslave.
Right. We've got a Rune Mage Henry Assimilate. So running Taurus, Henry, which can create things into your deck. Qualifier can put the high provision things that you create towards the top. Rune Mage gives you more possible creates from the Henry. And then you have your sort of core Assimilate goals in Terra Nova, Vigo, and then Stefan Skeleton to provide a lot of Assimilate procs. And also Lydia is a pretty cheap way to create a special as well. Bronzes, you have Torturer, Diviner, as well as Informant and Emissary to work with your Brothans, and just a smattering of bronze tactics to make your Qualifier consistent. So a lot of creating going on in this. Watching a smite is always an interesting time, and depending on what is drawn or not, can result in a
we've seen players run
combos.
some extra tutors, like decrease on aeromancies, calls, so you might inadvertently give your opponent something big that synergizes with the current game board situation. But yeah, I would agree that Henry doesn't seem to be overly dominating, like it loses games, but at the same time it's not bad time to watch streamer play it yourself, so I would recommend. I must admit I didn't play enough of Henry myself though. Only,
I don't think I've ever played
glimpses.
Henry, to be honest.
I did get Henry into Henry once, so that was fun, but that's as far as my experience goes. So the next deck is Guerrilla's Tactic, and this is slightly different as I see the Pavko Gale here. So instead of something, we have Pavko. There's also Kieran.
Yeah, so no Heatwave. Heatwave is cut
yeah.
and sort of downgraded into this Pavko and SCR.
Yeah, good spot. There is also one dwarf that provides potentially +2 buff on Shiro, so that opens up more lines on the Shiro as leader, and Lokfane is usually +2, but we've seen this in action, and well, not sure if there is much to talk about. Pavko is, of course, if he's sticking, very dangerous tool, as it pings twice by 2 each turn, which is what I mean. Next deck, and this is Tatterwing.
Yes,
So it's
so
working out against Dauren's lineup.
So you have big finishes in Tatterwing and Morwood, whilst your earlier game plan consists of getting a lot of low power units onto your side of the board, and then using your payoffs in particularly the Dauren, which you're able to play her twice, with the girls typically being what you play to bring her back. There's also, say, one for a little bit of extra control on top of the heat wave and the natural selection too.
Yeah, so goes uber wide and might be a problem while facing self wound. But luckily for... no, wait. Selfwound was there, right? It was just banned.
Yeah, Selfwound is an opposing lineup.
There was a ban, we just didn't see it, but yeah, you definitely want some units on your side of the board, and Svolbot kinda says no. And as this discussion goes, we did get the bans, and the Self-Wound is banned from Dauren's lineup, and we are not sadly seeing Enslave. Nequist is on blue coin, and his last deck, potentially played from blue coin, is Pirate's Cove with 1 extra poison. Did we? Oh, we did get invite. So yeah, Pirate's Cove.
I'm confused because I'm not seeing the bans, but that's fine.
Bans are in channel number 3.
Okay. Alright. So, yes. So what do we need to look out for the Pirates Cove list?
Yeah, I closed it to accept the invite,
Okay.
so you can go through it.
Okay,
maybe.
So we have a kind of an additional poison in the Mutated Hounds on top of your Fisstech Trafficker, Double Fisstech, and the Failed Experiment. Also, of course, your Eventide Plunder. Only a one-off in this deck, actually. Can roll an additional Failed Experiment. You have Furko the Sculptor, which doesn't actually have no Grading Justice in this particular list. No Sausage Maker either. So Furko mainly pulling your Collusion or pulling the strings. Maybe his Provision Nerfs, sticking a Vega is kind of coming into play a little bit there. Otherwise, Horson Jr., very strong control tool as always, and then your higher end of Jacques Novigrad and Siggy ought to not be any surprise. Interested to see how the Power Nerf Shady Vendors are going to perform, but with refunds coming through from King of Beggars via that Putrid Grove, should still be decently high value.
Okay, so the card is spinning, the bans are on the screen, and Lemon smoothly talked you through most of the decks while I was setting stuff up, but now we are ready to go. The lower bracket semi-final starts as soon as players are ready to start. Of course, Nequist had like extra 30-40 minutes of rest time. As
what should you get if you manage to 3-0 your opponent, I guess?
Or be 3-0'd by your opponent. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Since we are watching the losers bracket, I wouldn't bring that out as a strong argument of look at him go.
Yeah, I had that the other way around. But silver linings and all that, at least you got more time to have a break.
So with Nequist going from blue coin, he has how many? Has Cove and probably not Tatterwing. Although maybe, I'm not sure what he will be sniping as far as the matchups go. On the other side, probably Nilfgaard once again from Dauren. He did start series with Nilfgaard from red against Lerio. Lineups are of course not the same, but
yeah, I think Deathwish you want to have blue coin to make use of the stratagem in your Aaron diet. Harmony also maybe slightly favors the blue coin. At least we saw Lerio tended to play the Harmony more on blue coin, since there were more of those red coin decks still available for him in his lineup. Then again, maybe the Selfwound was just basically always forced to come out on the red coin. Yeah, so I would not at all be surprised to see Formation as the first list on red coin. Could either be Harmony or Curve for Nequist. Maybe lean towards the Cove, let's say.
okay, so
We shall see.
wait, Nequist says that card is not spinning for him. Nequist was kicked out. So hopefully we'll get a restart, but yeah, that's unfortunate. Should we cancel? We'll figure it out, but for now we'll just wait for response from Metal. Okay, so should get a new one soon. Okay, so Metal, Detective Metal is Administrator Metal is on the case. This brings us to the important stuff to talk about. $188 already contributed to the crowdfunding. As we mentioned before, yeah, there is a locked prize pool of $1,000, but it would be nice for like a bigger stage, since the crown, this is the challenger, the event based on crown points, so it rates your performance throughout the year on the ladder in the tournaments. So it would be nice to have an increased prize pool for that one. So if you want to contribute, links are on the screen, links are in the chat. And yeah, every cent matters in the video game that was left on to its own devices by the developers. We are happy to have the functioning infrastructure and the game still, but yeah, we kind of need to find sponsors for the events, and having Metal as the sponsor and as admin is a bit too much if you ask me. So if you have
do want to sponsor the event, get in touch with Metal. I'm sure.
Yeah, sure. Like we had
to be worked out.
Yeah, we just had the best of 7 between Magpie and Karim. So if you want to organize some show matches. I guess you can contact any of us and we can try to figure something out with the players as well. Should not be only like big tournaments. Always show matches are always a great fun. Just depends on the rules. Okay, so the match has been restarted. Players will need to reban and we will be good to go after that. Once again, I'll bring the... Okay, there goes the invite. I'll bring to the screen the next event. Next one is happening... Well, tomorrow is the final time for top 4 qualifiers, but June 15th, 16th, next weekend, Lemon, myself, Metal and Salty will be covering the games from top 8. Well, it's not top 8 of the crown points, it's basically top 11 with 3 people already qualified from that list. And it looks like we are getting into the game.
Right. It's actually the tattooing from Blue Coins. That's not quite what we were expecting.
Okay. Maybe once again sniping the matchup or counter queuing your opponent. Why did I... It's Dauren's Nilfgaard, sorry, I was a bit confused. So the bans were Self-Wound from Dauren and Nilfgaard from Necklace. Yeah, all correct. Just a bit of confusion on my part. Let's go.
Right. Only Naglfar found as a tutor for Necklace here. Means there's a lot of pressure to find like the Hive Mind, the Dauren, potentially the Saya Quan too, to deal with some kind of engine that Dauren is putting down. But these double Night Wraith to be eaten by the Dragon Warrior, not too shabby in being able to fill up this back row.
So Crossbowman is kind of nice at pinging once away, but a bit too early for that, I guess, with double Deathwish unit being on the board.
The other thing is, I believe there's 2 11 provision cards in deck in the Shoop and the War Council tied for the sort of potential heist provision. So it looks like Dauren low rolled the choice,
And
which
yeah,
opens
that-
up a natural selection.
Decides to just risk it without leader commitment. That's somewhat of a costly mistake. Player connection lost is like, ah, fuck it, I'm done with it. Please don't be, please return. Or whoever disconnected.
Oh, it's always
Yeah.
so unnerving seeing that pop-up come up.
And this is also lasting for longer than I'd want to see that window.
Same.
So, might have an issue here. Not sure on whose part it is. But I think it's a big... Oh! Oh!
But good.
Wait. So long. And then...
Yeah.
Wow.
That
Incredible. And hopefully
Okay.
not
I-
to repeat again. Okay, so warrior is kind of helpful with...
this is 7-point play.
okay, he's not removing anything as yeah, you're not risking once again popping the death wishes, but the death wishes will be utilized by Nequis if necessary. The swarm is nice, yeah, access to Dauren would have been nicer, of course. You mentioned that the tutoring is lacking.
Yeah. I think Dauren is going to be largely happy if Dauren does end up just being played in this round one.
Yeah.
At least one copy.
That's engine dead. And well, the engine might have been stolen, but there is no payoff for that one. And we see Gales. So Sharkan is your alternative. You have a 5 to kick to hit. Not ideal.
I mean, having the girls top deck is nice, but you still need to find the Dauren before the girls actually becomes useful.
Yep.
So it's sort of, especially if the odd gate gets played, that's just going to be an echo clogging the draws as well. And we see the Ramon commitment, bit of a late commitment, bringing the crossbowman after a few soldiers were already played, but doing a pretty good job at staying ahead.
And of course the crossbowman also did find the one of two dead wish units immediately, as might have been the reason why Dauren didn't really commit them immediately. Oh, but now we see leader charges and stuff, and yeah, they are very good at. They are very bad at shooting small threads, but the night range that you cannot really hit properly easily.
I think there might have been like something to do with the sequencing there, that the Death Wish didn't properly, might have not spawned both rats, I'm not sure. It resolved pretty quickly. Regardless, Nequis getting out of the round already. And yes, this is what happens when Dauren is not there.
Yeah, this is completely different game when you have like almost full rows, both of them, and a chance to play Lara. Ah, there she is.
There you go.
Okay, at that list. No swarm though, so that's another sort of disaster for the Tatterwing player here.
And
of course, you can.
We know. Yeah, that's high commitment in this round and not going to help much either. Yeah, we know how Dauren likes to play with this list. Going to go quite heavy in this round. Imagine it goes Night Raid. Could maybe find something to eat it with a Rune Mage, perhaps. That could be interesting.
So we do have Swarm at home, says Nequis, and has to commit leader charges, and also the warrior. And I don't know, there is Rune Mage, there is Shoop as well.
Yeah.
That could
Color.
have done the damage.
I did.
That's a heat wave, if I ever seen
Also-
one.
Wait, why did Nicholas play front row? That just... You naturally don't want to play front row against
True.
this deck because of that backup threat. I'm not sure on the reasoning there. That's a couple of points potentially
fuck.
lost.
At least it's not
Oh
on
my
yeah,
gosh.
but and he has a lot of units of his own, but he procs the Death Wish, and yeah, Red wins the game. This was the last drop that killed Dauren's will. Oh, Nequiz's will to play into this.
That was disgusting. But
And
very
we
good
are-
find, I guess.
Yeah, this was disgusting, and we are all in for this, but probably would appreciate if the games will go the full length, and yeah, the draws might be a little bit better for both. So we are seeing the decks at its at their finest.
Well, Nicholas has to play Tattooing again to be able to win the series, so we might see Tattooing actually pull off its game plan.
But that was quite easy for Dauren with the pressure. Even with, yeah, you mentioned not playing crossbowmen early, we talked about that. Maybe he was trying to preserve them, believing that he's not winning round one, but then the window of opportunity just opened wide with no Lara Dauren being available from Naglfar, no tutor for that as well. And well, there was tutor, but you know what I mean. And yeah, winning round one. Getting the control, and also that nasty roll into the fork tail.
I mean, it was already looking bad, but the fork tail just secured it. Any possibility a Necklace could get swarmed together was down by the wayside. But we'll see more monsters, but a bit of a different deck in the Death Wish, starting on the blue coin up against Pirate's Cove. Now, naturally pulling the strings, well, quite happy if you're able to pull a date with a succubus, let's just say.
At the same time, as we talked before, there is Riptide, Cyclops, Irondite, so control present, at least some, so maybe establishing all the categories is not that trivial.
Yeah, or at least able to shut down some of the bigger threats like a little bird or a tunnel drill. Oh my gosh. Where's the counter?
Well, already on the screen. Although I didn't see the man come into the hand, but I would assume that's what you were referring to, so it's actually on the screen with the counter 1. Even if there is not that much Syndicate represented in the tournament, King of Beggars finds a way.
Okay. So Nick is off to another slightly suboptimal start. At least there's no shady vendors or, I think, other tributes.
Yeah, so
which would make
it's just
this
that
more
card in
awkward.
hand.
Yeah. You see, Novigrad commitment could either mean you're actually aiming to contest the round one.
Yeah. This is like
Or
a
you're-
Lerio line.
Yeah. Or you're expecting your opponent to bleed you, so you're happy to have this sort of already sitting on the board to provide you some flexibility. It's having the extra tools to defend in round 2, which I expect to be the case. I don't think Death Wish is ever going to take this Pirate's Cove to a long round 3.
Okay, so
Alternatively, you see Temper Pass. Novigrad can ensure you don't have to go down below 4 cards. So here comes some poison.
Dauren nicely getting that giant toad among all the... not all there was the breach troll, of course, but yeah, that's a nice outcome. Would have been
Problem
happy
is-
with the megascope here, right?
Somewhat. I don't know if you'd have had time to play it.
Maybe.
Because the Dagon infuses 5 units, right? You need to eat 4 of them to worship Dagon enough. That's already 4 infusions on the board. You're only allowed to miss 1 infusion, which, if Nequiz passes this next turn, Dauren has to either commit like another consume or something, or Dagon's not coming back.
Yeah, but at least Dauren is not crazy enough. There we go. Yeah, Lemon is just too good at the video game, reads players and reads the situation. So it cost him a leader charge, but Dagon is a little bit bigger than the leader charge he considers.
Yes.
And also was not crazy enough to Temple Pass Syndicate into on ground when they have poisons and you have, well, some control, but not much of it.
Also, there wasn't even a consume in hand apart from the AQ, I think. Or I mean, technically Dauren block, but again, you're not playing that. So I think, yeah, kind of forced just use the leader there anyways. Immediately finds last infusion on this bridge troll, quite nice. I'm not sure what happened with the mulligans. Those were super quick for Dauren, but Megascope sitting in hand is maybe not what you'd want here. And actually pulling the strings, getting mulligan.
Okay, so Nequiz's Fairco can pull Collusion, of course, but also Poison, Strings, and Eventide Plunder. No Justice in this deck. We do see the Heatwave, no Novigrad.
And a pretty good Riptide as well, getting rid of the double gangs, but the second Bloody Good Friends are here to have a bloody good time and hopefully stick around for a little bit longer.
There is Irondite, but it's a bit early for that to be dropped. So.
Yeah, able to just establish the Detlef. Nice thing is you're against a devotion list, no threat of the heat wave, so you can float AQ if you so choose. But I don't even know how great that is, because there's a distinct lack of consumes here for Dauren.
Well, there is a second Toad, but after
That's
that
true.
we should go for the Chimera route once again.
Yeah. I mean, Dagon coming back when the bridge troll gets played, I guess, but that's sort of, you eat up consume to get a consume back. And yeah, little bird for tags, with that little bird cosplaying as a blind eye, but now gonna have to cosplay from the grave.
A little bird, big target, so yeah, gets the sword treatment immediately. Bank, showing... What exactly? You're not pulling any
Could be
strings. Second bird.
Mutant Maker for the tags. Little bird for blind eye again, I suppose.
Yes, it is the blind eye, so 4 tags on the board. We do see Dauren playing AQ front row, avoiding the meeting with the Toad.
Yeah. So you can get Salamandra tag from either the Hounds or Failed Experiment, but the Firesworn tag is looking a bit harder to get. I guess the Siggy can get it, of course, but that might be locking up the Siggy for like a Firesworn collusion. And
Let's
Shady
see.
Predator.
Shady.
Could have Firesworn here, either from the Congregation or directly from something else, but going for Hysterion to Riptide, setting up a horse, and it looks like to gain a lot of coins back.
You could have set up it on Arachas Queen. That's the problem of that wish occasionally, as you have to eat your stuff. But yeah, then your opponent has the freedom of potentially over profiting you if your coin situation is not great.
So Megascope is a bit slow, does get this Toad out, gonna help for next round, but not helping you really push the envelope in this round 2 here and now. But yeah, that's Little Bird getting the 4 boost through. I'd expect Horson's going to collect on this bounty, get back to a full coin bank. Quite nice to make use of the Horde effect for the Sea Jackal and just have more coins for the Little Bird going forward. That'll actually get ahead here for Nequiz, so... Or would it? Wait, does the Toad come back out? Okay, getting ahead with the spend.
Yeah, the spending is good enough. We do see the Chimera, I would expect, yeah. No Deathloop synergy, as you actually want to get the Deathloop out, but... well, consuming it is a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, there is the Call of the Depths available for the Deathloop and Leader Charge. What does Doldulok put on top? Either Ciliana Harpy or Cyclops, and you cannot go all in, I am afraid, as in you need points for round 3. So
yeah,
you get only 1 Toad into the round 3 at the moment, which is bad. And Dauren kinda agrees, but at the same time he is going into round 3 against Jacques, Siggy, Collusion, Furco, with no extra card as well. Oh my.
The only gold remaining for Dauren is this Erendite with the Echo coming back now. It'll be good at the 11 damage right now, but I don't think it's going to cut the mustard.
Okay. KOB has left the hand. I think I'm removing the counter for now. We'll might need it later. Maybe, but maybe Syndicate just has a good time here in round 3, and the counter will be gone for today.
Yeah. And now the thing is that there's actually there's a very good balance for consumed Deathwish for Dauren here.
With the Dagon coming.
Except I'm scared of pulling the strings, especially with this tunnel drill. If you can damage the succubus and then steal it.
I think the deal actually called for the Iron Insta Ironite.
Oh no. Yeah, no, because Nequiz just needs to lead a click drill, Furco pulling the strings, and that's it.
Well,
Succubus
he's not
is gone.
going for that, apparently.
Okay. Dauren might live another turn.
Coming into the cinema scenario, live another turn. Okay, now the Arendite does the job.
Yeah, that was a strange couple sequencing of turns, in my opinion, but yeah, so now we'll have the Dagon coming out with the Bridge Troll being played back row, eaten by a Toad. Bit surprised on this sequencing actually though. I would have expected the Dagon to come out first as well. Before the stuff, but I don't think it makes too much of a difference.
Really need another Jackal with the leader and control gone from the opponent, so goes for the Husker, but Huckster is with no category of use here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poison's...
So you only have access to the 3 tags right now for Nequiz, no other units in hand. So Siggy's going to have to find the, what is it? Cut up. Well, there's no cut up remaining actually.
Yeah, that's also a problem. Okay, so Dagon has a huge target on its back. And the issue is you'd want to eat the egg for the 6 point. I guess eating 5 is fine as well on the last turn, but yeah. Don't get the consumed through. Poisoned by the mutated hounds. What kind of god it is? if he can be so easily answered. So 35 points. Syndicate, do your magic. Kenya, not much left in the deck, as you pointed out.
It's probably
Firesworn
just
Salamandra.
yeah. It's a Shady Vendor with Collusion. We've seen minimal pulling the strings coming out. But, yeah,
Where is the Shady Vendor stack? Guys, return it. So
yeah, should
40 points. Collusion does have a few, and enough by 3. Okay. Very close.
right.
An extra consume would have, of course, wanted for Dauren, but consuming by Dagon, that is already poisoned, wouldn't really give him any extra points in that sequencing, if I'm not mistaken. So it's 1-1.
Yeah.
And KOB counter is gone from today. Might acquire it tomorrow though.
So it's Deathwish. We'll need to try again another time. I think it did it won straight away against Lerio, I think. So this is the first loss we saw for the Deathwish today. Instead,
So this is Nequis's blue coin, which, well, might once again mean the Tata Wink, we never know, but might as well be.
actually,
Harmony, and can we get a Harmony mirror? Easily. We enjoyed one today. Dauren has the experience now maybe to pilot it a bit more differently, but we'll see. There's also a difference in Puff to Gale and no Heat Wave, if we are seeing.
we do find it, and yeah, Dauren looked very good on the red coin up until that pivotal shearer. But if you can replicate that here, I think Dauren could be in it with a shot. And Nequis is a bit different with no Heat Wave, but the Ciaran and the Pavka might actually help in a sense, to just with a push a bit more in round 2, kind of if we see a similar way that the game unfolds. Naturally, Pavko is ranged a lot with the order, but both players have leaders which can move units back and forth.
Yeah, so
it'd be interesting to
Dauren
see how
does
that
have
goes.
Dana, and he runs double Purify, but no access to Purify this time around, so Kiaran might find insane value. And of course, there is the Curse Scroll if necessary. But yeah, before you get the profit from your Dana, you are asked the question, what are you doing about your opponents? And the answer is nothing, also not shareable. And you don't have poison connects. So both Sheros are getting buffed, makes it more spicy.
Yeah. So Waters are protected at 6, but if we see a similar like chameleon Waters of Brooklyn play, be vulnerable at 7 instead now.
And there goes very unlucky from Dauren. He's been on the low roll occasionally here in today's quali semi-final times.
This is such a more efficient answer compared to a heat wave here, with the lack of Purify being drawn. It basically now allows Nequis just have this additional Pavko Gale, since the heat wave wasn't needed and not really sort of punished in that sense, by still having the answer for cheap. What did this chameleon find? Found a dwarf tag. Okay, sure.
Life is eternal.
Not going to impact too much. There's a pretty good spread of tags in Nequis's hand remaining. You have the Saskia dragon not being played yet, also the tree ant and the human in the abandoned girl. So,
Goes for another pickup, and it is of course the scenario that you cannot tutor otherwise. Should be sent in back, like abandoned girl, purify, probably abandoned girl.
yeah, I'd say the Purify is probably worth more, despite not really proccing Harmony as much.
At the same time, yeah, this is Dana carryover, which is nice, of course. Ah, wait. What did get shuffled back?
It was the Purify
Purify,
going back,
yeah,
so
I
he
guess
decides
he's-
to keep. I guess also keep in mind the abandoned girl keys getting boosted after the sap was put back. So at 9 power now, I mean, that's not bad at all.
I guess he didn't really feel threatened by the poisons landing on Dana. He would have seen it earlier,
Oh yeah, for sure.
so didn't need the Purify anymore. Abandoned Girl goes back, and of course her presence might be vetted by the... Oh wait, what might it? Yeah, so by the Puffco being the human.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a decent chance Saskia might find her. Instant scenario coming out from both players. Dauren's still missing the heat wave, so heat wave could be pivotal in answering the opponent's scenario whilst yours going unanswered because Neko's did drop the heat wave. But it doesn't matter if you don't draw it here.
Yeah, why?
And that is one of the few cards which call the forest cannot tutor.
So Nequist might have expected things, but the things never happened. And yeah, the Shiro music is muted at the moment, him being at 4. Next turn, no chameleons on the board. All might come out, but we can also see players to be more alert and maybe sparing a leader charge to just
Yeah.
split the waters.
By the way, Pavko would go up to 7 because it has human bandits tags.
So can't open with that. Yeah, and we do see Nequist playing Chameleon first, I think. Trying to set something up, but he already
Wait.
offers this Shiro here.
Wait. Nequist can't fully proc the scenario. It's only Weeping Willow as Harmony.
The
sorry,
ha-
Pavko has
the
Harmony
buff
too.
for Harmony
Okay.
as well. And
Never
here we
mind,
see the
sorry.
Shiro. Well, the scenario is getting procced, but it kind of feels dry now that the water has been all
Oh my gosh.
destroyed by the Shiro. What?
I love it.
Yeah,
I
there
love
we
it. It's
go.
all dried up now. You're coming for my job, Kung Fu, huh?
Yeah.
You love to hear it. Couch Adepts, that was the role of the scenario here for Dauren, getting ahead by quite a large amount. Of course, their Nequist's scenario not fully procced, and here comes the second Sappers, the one not put to the one off deck to protect this Kafka Gale. They're in a similar situation to the previous Harmony Mirror we saw. Dauren has the early commitment of the Shiro to answer the waters, getting this early lead. But now Nequist is going to try to catch up with the Shiro, and I mean, there's also this huge Saskia and Weeping Willow as well. Pavko can help set up a Shiro potentially.
Oh, we do get the emote.
Was that? Did he play the Dryad in the wrong row?
Just checking if the stream is alright, but he did play the White Alichero, yeah. I guess it doesn't matter, I don't see him winning without the huge Shiro winning the round,
mean-
but I mean, yeah, that's that's still no reason.
I mean, Weeping Willow Poison procs the final Harmony
Yeah, that's the...
trigger for the mysteries.
You also blocked the high roll opportunity with the Dryad, so...
I mean, and if you could also maybe get a Shiro at like 11 here after another Harmony proc for Dauren.
Yeah,
Hidden the
Pop is
Theory and
actually
Drag
kinda
Ranger.
useful at providing extra lines for the Shiro, but it is what it is. The 16 survives. Of course, there was a Purify in Dauren's hand.
But darling, it's your lucky day.
And Soli Tari
Turns
Zero
out that
gifted a
me
tier
forgetting
1 sub
Pavko
to
that
Earth Sim
Harmony added to him
97.
kind of
They
ended
have
up
given
true
11 gift
because
subs
the
in the
Necklace
channel.
Story still didn't end up fully procced. And yeah, you gotta be questioning the value that provided. So now Dauren has a Waters of Brooklyn advantage, but Necklace has an advantage when it comes to the Shiro.
And
and
also
now-
done a carryover for extra like 10
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, it's quite significant there. But much better pull for Necklace finding the Antherian, which provides a lot of harmony, whereas Dauren got the relatively useless abandoned girl here.
My name? I don't recall.
Look at that synergy. Waters of Brooklyn helping provide some vitality to the young Dryad, and good play protecting against that potential Shiro. But we know the Shiro is buffed to 4, but it would still kind of come into play this next turn. Although second Dauren, not proccing any additional harmonies right now for Neckwiz. So, but yeah, this Chameleon looking pretty good with how much harmony Neckwiz is looking to have this round. Here comes Poison numero uno.
So
Another
Dauren is aware
roll.
of the role, learning from mistakes of the opponent. Playing the Poison Dryad into the middle row.
So, yeah, Sasuke finding Sappers and not the Antherian is just really not great here. It means that the Elf from hand isn't proccing harmony, even for summoning the Dwarf, or which would have been significantly better. That was like the worst roll that Dauren could have gotten there. But able to finish up the poison onto that Antherian.
That abandoned girl was maybe abandoned, but she's at 9 power. I'm not sure that she really struggled in her life.
No.
She was definitely eating well. So,
Yeah. Parents must have left her quite a big will, and you know what they say, where there's a will, there's a way.
so there was Shiro available, right? But not taken.
That's
Any
7.
particular reason for that?
I'm not sure, is it?
14 not winning you the game, so you should just go all in, but yeah, situation doesn't really change.
Maybe hoping something else would have been played to make it bigger, or thinking of going Shiro at 4 even?
Maybe, or deny the Whipping Willow, like Whipping Willow will be only moved to front row on the last turn. So Heatwave is just a 15.
I am one of a kind.
Dauren really says, I don't care, not really trying to. The units are split between power.
I mean, yeah, I think you just go for 4 here as Neckwiz,
Yeah.
double leader on the Weeping Willow, and kill it off.
Looks like it. Unless, yeah, you cannot really reliably line up the big units, and there's only like 2 of them.
Not a bad Shiro at all, though.
Yeah, there is still something to pull out, Dwarf.
I mean, Dolpha, only 4 in this deck, I think it's a minor, right? It's not the best, but still, when you're 40 points up, I don't think you have much to complain about in this sort of situation. Sure, there's a 19-point heat wave, but 2 leader charges ain't gonna make a difference. And that's the lead and match point now for Neckwiz.
Okay, well done. Dauren is once again struggling with the win in the harmony mirror. But what's the last deck for Nequist then? Tatterwing, we've seen that struggle already.
I mean, maybe Nequist can actually draw the Dauren in round 1 and it goes quite differently.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it should have a decent time against Henry. Because, like, what are they gonna assimilate?
Henry is banned, right?
Oh, okay.
Unless I misread the screen
Oh, no, I
in
think
the
you're
beginning,
right.
but yeah, I think Nequist only has.
Yeah, I keep looking at the website. My 20 client website is bugged for some reason. I don't
Well,
see
we
the bans.
did get the restart.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it was bugged before that though,
Ah,
even.
okay.
So I don't know what's going on with it.
Anyway,
yeah.
so we do have Nequist with the match point potential, has 2 shots for it.
Yeah.
Loser of this match leaves the qualis, will get another chance to play in next weekend in single elimination top 8. But winner goes into the lower bracket final and gets a chance to qualify to the challenger.
Yeah.
So
Look, even from the position they're both in, they need to win this series and another. If they have to try again next week, next weekend, then they need to win 3 games in a row, 3 series in a row, and that's a much taller ask. So it is a Death Wish on the blue, Tatooine on the red.
yeah,
Nequist, of course, not much of a choice, but be interesting to see how hard, because these are both fairly point slammy decks.
yeah,
But they
wholesome
play out
monster
quite
mirror.
differently. Yeah.
And by wholesome I mean, is it really? But there is some interaction with your opponent, some control, but yeah, as you point out, it's more of a point.